Alright, so I'm back, and as usual, I have a brand new 3 animes to recommend you guys. But before we get on with the recommendation slash review, remember to like and subscribe, and yeah, let's get on with the video. So the first anime I'm going to recommend is The God of High School. The God of High School centers on a wild, confident teen who enters a nationwide martial arts tournament where high school students are allowed to fight using any style, rule, or even any weapons that they want to, with the outrageous promise that the winner will be granted any wish at all. The first episode immediately throws viewers into the chaos by introducing the tournament through explosive street fights, sudden invitations from mysterious organizers, and the brutal opening match that makes it clear that it's not just a normal competition, as contestants are tested not just on skills, but on instincts and sheer willpower. What makes as a flashy, adrenaline-fueled brawl quickly grows into something more bigger, and you have so many things that are used like systems of powers. But obviously, this type of thing doesn't just happen out of nowhere. There is an organization in the shadows that manipulate events from behind the scenes, and even something deeper that is going on. Let's say it's something between humans and gods, if that makes sense. I'd be surprised if you haven't heard of this anime before, because it was a popular webtoon, a very popular webtoon. And even when the anime aired, the anime was also popular at that time too for the first season. But I have good news and I have bad news for you if you haven't seen this anime yet. So I'll start with the good news. The good news is that this anime is actually good. It is enjoyable to watch. I like the characters, I like the systems and the fights that are put on display. The bad news though is that you'll notice when you're watching it, it is extremely rushed, and that was the main criticism about the anime when it aired, is that it just went by super fast. Everything, the storyline just full on just went through everything really fast. So that it was really criticized for. So that, just keep that in mind if you do decide to watch this series. The next anime I'm going to recommend is The King's Avatar. The King's Avatar follows a calm, highly skilled professional gamer who is suddenly forced out of the game he helped build and dominate, losing his status, reputation, and prized account overnight. The first episode sets the tone by showing his quiet exit from the professional scene and his immediate return to the game from scratch at a small internet cafe where he logs in on a new character and casually outplays experienced players, making it clear that his talent never left even if his name did. What begins as a grounded story about online competition quickly grows into a sharp look at esports culture, and as friendships form, rivals also appear as well, and the climb back to the top becomes less about revenge and more about rediscovering the love for the game. If you like anime like SAO, Log Horizon, Shangri-La Frontier, which I've recommended before, even anime like Overlord, I've seen a lot of these types of animes. This is not necessarily considered an isekai like I would say SAO is, because they're not necessarily going into the game, but they are still playing, as it's really like a regular game. If you like anime like SAO, Log Horizon, Overlord, and even Shangri-La Frontier, then you'll probably like this anime as well. And while it's not an isekai in the sense where they're actually going into the game, the fight scenes themselves are actually pretty intense and really cool. And it was one of the most things that were talked about with this anime was the fight scenes. And it is a Chinese anime, so it's not like set in Japan like some of the other animes. It was made by China, which is, a really interesting thing. And I guess the other interesting thing about this anime is that it is a Chinese anime, which you don't really see that many of those, which besides the other one that I actually recommended in my last video. But yeah, that is, interesting. It is a Chinese anime. But if I had to say one bad thing about this series, it's actually something that I criticized Shangri-La Frontier on, which is that there's not really any stakes. Like, they're playing a game and the action scenes are cool, but it's not like there's gonna be any deaths, like real deaths in the actual anime. So there's not really any stakes at all, but it does have the same competitiveness that, let's say, a lot of sports anime have, where obviously they're not like fighting for their lives or anything, but it has that same competitive feel to it because it is technically esports. So I guess you could say that it is a sports anime, but like with the action scenes, come on, you can't really group it in with that. But other than that, yeah, I would recommend this series. The final anime I'm going to recommend is Great Pretender. Great Pretender follows a small-time con artist who believes he's clever enough to scam anyone, only to quickly learn within the first episode that he's completely outplayed by a far more experienced and dangerous charismatic swindler, dragging him into an international world of high-stakes fraud that stretches far beyond street tricks. The opening episode sets the tone with sharp humor and stylish twist as a simple scam spirals into a globe-trotting con involving wealthy criminals, fake identities, and carefully layered deception. What starts as an accidental partnership turns into a slick episodic series of elaborate schemes where nothing is ever quite what it seems, blending colorful visuals, jazz-infused energy, and moral gray areas as the story explores trust, redemption, and even the thin line between justice and manipulation, all while constantly daring the audience to guess who's really in control of the con. The plot in this anime is actually pretty much straightforward, and it is very predictable. You kind of get a sense of what's going to happen with, the plot and everything that's happening. You can see the direction that every single con or everything that's happening where it's going. So it's very simple and straightforward in that way, but it is also ridiculously funny. So, if you're into anime that is super funny, then you would most likely like this as well. But yeah, generally speaking, I would say that it is well executed. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Lights are lit and there's sweat on your